a light.
What's up, Arkansas? How is everyone tonight? Tonight we've got some great people up here with Star. That's a group we have here in Arkansas. We're trying to interview everyone, every group, kind of let everyone know who all's out here, who all you would like to join up with, maybe do some training with, learn from, maybe even teach. Uh, I've spent some time with these guys, and let me tell you, they know their stuff. Uh, Defensive, evasive tactics, just a great group of people. Guys, introduce yourselves and let everyone know what you're about.
I'll let him go. Oh, you want me to go first?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Since I'm higher command.
Chain of command, bro.
Yeah. Well, I am Mayhem. I am the second in command of STAR, which stands for Security Tactics and Rescue. Um, and we have individuals from all over Arkansas. We're pretty much based out of headquarters is based out of Little Rock, um, and we have divided our section, or we have divided our districts by population. So we have 4 districts that we operate in, and this guy down here is part of District 2. He is the district manager, which means he's the second in command of that district. This guy down here, Shooter, he is our training officer. And we like to get together and we do some training, both defensive, escape and evade, some military tactics, but most of all, we try to work on the community. So it's not just military tactics, it is also carpentry, um, and helping during a natural disaster. Uh, and right now, we are in the process of we're starting to become FEMA certified, so we can work with FEMA and respond to any type of disaster. We also are working on getting our 501c3, which is coming out very soon. So a lot of things are happening all at once, and it's going real fast. So we do have open enrollment. We are looking for able bodies, and even if you feel that you're not an able body, we'll find something for you to do in the group, whether it's being our secretary, uh, gathering intel, whatever the case may be. And that's basically what our group is. I'm second in command. Unfortunately, our first guy in command is got a sinus infection, so like he called me and he's like, dude, I sound horrible. I said, you sound horrible. So don't worry about it. But he's watching. So if anything I say wrong or any of these guys say anything wrong, he's gonna let us know about it. Should be in the chat. So
He's in the chat.
oh, he's in the chat.
Yes.
Well, okay. All right, go ahead, Patriot.
I'm normally y'all guys know me as Backwoods and Prepping on YouTube. Got a little channel going on, and then my name I normally go by is Patriot. That's just been that way for a long time. Just a regular country boy that likes to fish, hunt, I raise chickens, I grow tomatoes, and I got a lawn care business that I started that I do on my own. Do all the properties myself, and just a regular old guy. And I wanted to really, I wanted to be involved in something, you know what I'm saying, and involved in helping people, and involved in training, involved in getting better at with my weapon, getting better with you know, my health, um, my stamina, you know, just getting better. And I wanted to be involved, you know, in something that was just more than for myself, that it would be helping other people, you know, and that we could work together, you know. The other night, you know, I was wrong about something. Mayhem and I spoke on the phone. He told me how the cow eats the cabbage, and was honest with me, and that's why I really love this guy, man. He was 100% honest, and you know, I said, man, you're right. You know, you know, and so that's the kind of things that we do for each other. You know that. You know, sometimes he gets mad about something. Sometimes he just wants to talk. Man, me and him just, man, we're just, hey, what's up, man? Oh man, I'm freaking driving down the road, you know, and you know, so that's the kind of people we are looking for. People that just they want to improve themselves. They want to improve the community. They want to be, you know, we like he said, if you can't go out there and run around, or you're not, you know, want to play with a weapon, you know what I'm saying? I mean, cool. It's not about, it's not, everything is not about that. You know, come hang out with us, do what you can do, and maybe you bring some bottled waters, you know, and you bring us some water while we're out there sweating and trying, you know. I mean, that stuff is important, you know. So there's a spot for everybody, you know, and it's community building. You know, it's about building each other up, the community, helping each other. Maybe a natural disaster comes through, you know what I'm saying? And you know, we go and help. I mean, we get together, we go and we help out, and that's that's about what I got for that question or for the introduction for myself. Shooter.
Yeah, I'm Shooter. I've been on Mayhem's channel once or twice. I got uh, I got started in this because one, I'm a training fiend. I like to go everywhere and train with everybody that I can. I can never get enough of it. I actually just got back from a place today. Um, I met these guys and really liked what they stood for, and decided to keep hanging around and keep training. Um, my background didn't actually start with like firearms and prepping and all that. It started in hand-to-hand combatives with kickboxing. Did that for about 2.5, 3 years, and then somebody from the other side of the gym rolled up one day and was like, "Hey, man, you ever tried jiu-jitsu?" And started that, and been doing that. Ran a couple competitions last year. Kind of got all that shut down, but hopefully I can get back to it next year. Um, what I really like is some that's important too is I like that we do stuff with the community, and I think that's something that has been slowly eroding over time, and I think that's the source of a lot of problems. So anything I can do to bring people together in the community to help each other and really revitalize that spirit is very, very meaningful and important to me, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing.
Very nice. Guys, I really appreciate the energy you've put into everything, the amount of training you do. And like you said, even the ones that aren't necessarily able bodied, they could still learn a lot from just watching you guys uh, in your activities, in your practice, in your teachings. And like what Shooter was saying, I love the fact that you're coming out here introducing yourselves to our greater community in the state of Arkansas. We have so many great people out here, and I really think y'all are part of that, and really in the forward movement position, and love everything you stand for and are doing.
Well, you know, the thing about it is, you know, even if, you know, like you said, you can come out and you can learn, you can just hang out with us. You know, we always pretty much when we go do a training session, you know, we always have some kind of food. We do something, you know. Man, you know, so if if you want to be a part of something like this, to get out there and you know all this stuff that's been going on with the coof and you know the things and just man, there's a lot of craziness going on. And I'm listening to sirens go down my road now. You know, just now it went by and you know there's always something going on. So you know, being a part instead of wallowing in that, you know, and just wallowing in all the bad, it's all bad, everything's bad. You know, one of the things that you can do is get out and do something. You know, it's it's good for you, you know, to get up and do something. It's good for you to go out and be a part of something, you know, and have that fellowship. You know, it's so important. And like I said, maybe you can't do certain things. Cool, no problem. Maybe there's a natural disaster down the road, you know. Um, Whatever happens, we all go meet up, we go over, we just pass out water and maybe cook up a few meals and bring it to some people who might have, you know, tornadoes here in Arkansas, you know. Look at how many people lose their homes every year with tornadoes, you know. And that's a really devastating thing. We had an F4 tornado come right here through where I live at, and a lot of people lost their homes. Man, it was devastating. You know, I mean, it really tore this community up. And you know, volunteering your time and even just taking a meal to someone, so that I mean, because they just lost everything, man, and you know they don't even know where they're eating tonight. They don't even know where they're sleeping, you know. So things like that, man, are super important. And if you guys, you know, are interested, you know, that's what we want to do. You know, that's what we do. That's what we train. You know, that's
And
you.
taking care of the community and each other. That's really what any of these groups are for. You've got STAR, you've got ARM, you've got the Arkansas Defense Force. Everybody that is doing this isn't doing it just for themselves. I mean, you have so many patriots in this state that want to do good for their communities, and there's so much negative light that's brought into groups like this. There's like, oh, they're just gun lovers, blah blah blah. That's not what it's about. It's about protecting our way of life, yes, but it's also being there for our community when we're needed. Because let's face it, the police can't do everything. They can't be everywhere. And
Correct.
it's about taking care of your neighborhood, your neighbors, your families. Everybody's got to do their part.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody,
You're roboting.
You're roboting, Mayhem. Yeah. See, I told him before we came on. I told him before we came on here, didn't I, Arkansas Prep? I told him I was going to be the end up one up speaking all if they can't get their internet right. Oh, Arkansas internet.
Okay.
But he's
I
actually
should
right.
be good now.
I don't know about that,
good,
but
right?
we can see you and hear you.
Okay.
That's a relative term.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, just like Jason, who's in the chat, and myself, we're ex-military. Everybody else that's in the group backgrounds, or they might have no tactical training backgrounds at all. We have firefighters, law enforcement, or just patriots. You know, you don't have to have any type of special background such as law enforcement or military. You don't need that. You know, you just need to have a will and a drive to say, hey, I want to stand up and make a difference. How can I do that? And we'll help you out. We'll help you find that that path that you need to take.
This
When I
doesn't,
went, go ahead, Patrick.
real fast, I just want to say this doesn't just count for Arkansas. Okay, I mean that we want everybody we can in Arkansas, to be a part of this, to stand out in the crowd, of people helping each other, man. But if you're in another state and you're wanting to try to, you know, kind of take this path because you're just wanting to help out the community, you wanting to train, reach out to us, and we should be able to help you get started, especially this guy down here, Mayhem. And, if you only know how to get hold of me, I'll get you in touch with Mayhem if you live in
Yeah,
another state.
that's why we went with Star, because most groups tend to try to focus on their state, and Star might start in Arkansas, but it could branch out, you know,
Yeah.
and we'll help you branch out, because a lot of people don't know where to start from.
Right.
You can, Jason's in the chat, hit him up. We do have we don't have a website, sorry. We have an email, which is st_rescue@yahoo.com. And all the officers have access to that email. So you can say to whom it may concern, or if you have want to reach me, say Mayhem. If you want to reach Patriot, say Patriot. Shooter, say Shooter. If you want to get in touch with Jason, say Daddy.
Yeah. Yeah. He decided to call himself Daddy.
Yeah, he decided to call himself Daddy. So he's Daddy.
That's kind of hard calling a guy Daddy that I'm like way older than him. You know what I mean?
Well, don't forget, I'm stepdaddy. He nominated me stepdaddy.
That's never
Oof.
gonna happen, sir. Sorry.
Ooh. Yeah, no.
I'm not calling him stepdaddy. It's hard enough to. If you noticed the other night when we were talking, I called him by his first name a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? And then one time I was like, Daddy, like that, and I was like, dang man, I don't even like saying that.
No, it's I don't know. I have a hard time saying it myself. I've only gone out with you guys once, and it kicked my butt. Just carrying the amount of weight I was like an idiot. I was carrying 3 weeks worth of stuff with me for a one night deal, and I have since learned don't ever do that again, because that just hiking in kicked my butt.
Well,
It was
that's
also very
insane.
hot that day too.
Yeah.
That was warm. That was warm for me too.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we practice. That's why you practice these things, man, because it's real easy to get all this nice fancy gear, but if you don't ever use it, you don't really know if it's what you should be using. You know what I'm saying? You're just kind of like, yeah, man, look at this cool gear I got, and but when you start to actually like put it on, because I bought an Alice pack, but it's I guess it's not called the Alice pack. It's called the Molly. It looks just like an Alice pack. It just has a Molly on it, and it's got the plastic frame instead of the metal. And I packed it up pretty good, and when I did, I thought, all right, I'm gonna take a hike down the road with this, Man, I took off from here and hiked down to the creek and back, dude. God dang, man. I was like, oh no, this ain't gonna work. This is too much weight, man. Because the Alice pack is, because they're so big, man, you can stack. And yeah, I've since went through it a couple of times, and I'm not done yet. I'm researching a little more, and um, actually tomorrow I'm going to be hiking down to the deal with the creek with it on, and so yeah, it's a use your gear.
Definitely. Yeah,
Uh,
that's like me. I remember I first started collecting stuff, and like I'm strapping just tons of random stuff to myself. And I'm like, I don't need all this. I mean, and everything grows and changes depending on the situation and what you're doing and where you're doing it. But for the most part, like I'm a big fan of light and fast. Uh, Maybe just because by virtue of me being a smaller guy, not able to actually carry as much. But no, getting out and practicing with it will definitely show you what you do need, what you don't need.
Mhm. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and always, and when you get out there and you practice, like Patriot was saying, and Shooter kind of emphasized on it too. I remember the first vest that I felt on Shooter. You know, he let me hold it. I was like, wow, this is pretty heavy. You know, mine was heavy. And by little, we're like,
think we lost you, Mayhem.
And he's over the road, man. He's in a bad spot.
Yeah,
You know,
truck stops, they have very unreliable internet. But yeah, on the practicing,
okay, can you guys hear me now?
yeah,
Yeah,
5x5? Yes? No?
yeah.
CC.
You might try turning your camera off, man. It may actually help your service just a little bit. I know turning your camera on does eat up a lot of
bandwidth,
bandwidth.
yeah.
Yep. If you tried that, sometimes it'll just leave your camera off, mayhem.
So you guys have already said who you're kind of looking for, and that'd be anybody. Uh,
Yes.
what what would you compare yourselves with, like ARM and the ADF, as far as what you offer in as far as training? How often do you train? Things like that. The people that are looking at these groups may pick you over someone else. Why would that be?
Well, we offer training every 2 weeks. Basically, we try to we put a schedule out, and we try to go ahead and put a schedule out of actually what we're going to be doing. And
Okay, I think I'm
we
back.
obviously we obviously promote for people to come and be there. It's important. The more exercise, we're out in the sunlight. Sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's a little cold, but you're out in them elements, man, and you're you know being out there is healthy for you. And
Yep.
we're we don't, when we are training something, we don't, nobody is going to like freaking cut you down, or act stupid or whatever, just because, you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's not like that. Like, we have a good time. We do, we are serious on our training sometimes, you know what I mean. I mean, every time, but I'm saying it's not like you're not going to be drill sergeant, you know um and we do food. um I can tell you one
He
thing.
might.
I can tell you one thing for sure. There is absolutely zero tolerance on any type of racism. I mean, you will be escorted off the property immediately, and you will never come back. Like, it is a very serious matter to us. We don't play that game. We don't play the whole, you know against the cops, and we want to, that crap that they, we don't play that stuff. That's not what we're about. we're about helping the community. We're about being with each other and helping each other out. If you know if someone is looking for some type of militant group, do not come here. Okay, because we are not about that. We're about being true citizens. You know what I'm saying? True community citizens. Being helping each other. You
good
back,
point.
man? Man, I hate that he's having internet trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just to kind of like to cue off a little bit what you said, like there's enough people and forces constantly trying to tear down the community and like not just the nation, but like states, communities, and even families and us as people, that we're not out to do that at all. We're in the business of building things. There's enough people trying to take stuff apart. My day job is I work on cars and fix things, and that's something I've always enjoyed doing. So being able to be a part of a group that's focused on putting a community together and helping people is the main thing.
So, Arkansas Living asked a question real quick. Said, I missed it earlier. What does STAR stand for? It stands for Security, Tactics, and Rescue. So we focus on all aspects of the community, doing the security, doing the tactics of being good to people, to reaching out to folks, you know, the rescue thing. I mean, if man, if there's a bad disaster that comes through, freaking tornadoes, we live in Arkansas, tornadoes come through, man, bam, it's bad. We want to go out and we want to participate in helping our community. Arkansas Living, if that helps.
Yeah. I know Mayhem had talked about being able to work with the Department of Emergency Management. Are y'all looking at getting a CERT team put together or search and rescue of some kind?
Well, I mean, yeah, we've got another guy that's already on uh, the fire deal. He's all right. So I'm thinking of all the stuff he does, man. He's freaking awesome. He does search and rescue. He's on the volunteer fire department. He does fires. He does entries. They've been working with doing drones with infrared to see like where the fire is, to maybe see where the people are. This guy's been doing a lot of this stuff, man. He's freaking awesome, and he's so that's the kind of thing that you know he kind of can help us on that deal and helps us on that. I've been a volunteer fireman and had some of the SCBA classes and you know fire, crawling up under the smoke, smoke filled room. I've had that kind of training as well. Yeah, so we when a disaster hits, what's going to happen is basically they're going to hit us all on our communications, and they're going to be like, hey, this happened. We're going to meet here. Whoever can come, please come and help, and we're going to show up. People are going to start answering, and we're going to go and we're going to do what's necessary, whatever, when the tornadoes come through here, I actually rode with a fire department, not a volunteer, but like a real fire department from the next town down. It's a lot bigger town. and they come up here to help when the tornadoes come through and tore our town all to pieces and all of our community and stuff. And I actually rode with them because I know my way around, you know, and they just wanted to go. And so I didn't quite have the training them guys had, but I told them while we were riding there, I was like, turn here, turn here. And I was like, I know how to do this, this, and this, I've had this training. So, kind of made them feel better. So, yeah, we have some search and rescue type training in
Good
our,
deal.
in our,
Terry Christ made the point. Believe most Americans will help people in a disaster situation, and
Mhm.
generally, I agree with that.
I
But
do too.
if you don't have the training or the knowledge on how to help, sometimes trying to help can actually hurt.
True.
So that's where training and being able to know what you're doing really comes in.
Right. Well, see, I, all right. So I worked for a gas industry, okay, natural gas.
Hmm.
And I also worked for a municipality, a big city at the sewer department. Okay, well, there's gases out there, be it in the gas field or at the sewer department, that can kill you. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some of them, if the levels are high enough, you take a breath and you're done. And the natural reaction, Terry Christ, is that when you see people down, your natural reaction is to rush in and help. Well, over the time I've had the training of hold on, stop. Why did them people fall out like that?
Exactly.
Back up, let's figure out what's going on. Oh man, there's a a certain chemical plant right there. You know, I need to figure out before I run which way the air is blowing. Which way the wind is blowing. That's my first thing I need to know. Do not rush in. Figure out which way the air is, and get upwind. You don't want to be downwind from where them people are. It may be a chemical release, of some sort. So these kind of trainings are super important. Was you gonna
Yeah,
say
it's
something?
like the pipe rupture the other night, or I guess it was last night, wasn't it? The anhydrous leak in
Yeah,
Calhoun County.
I heard something about it.
I mean, stuff like that. I mean, that, like you said, is deadly. And knowing what to wear, of course, you would need your SCBA for that, just to be able to
Yeah,
go into that and get people out. And if you don't have it, you can't really help.
yeah. So the thing about it is that getting together like this. I mean, it's. I hear a lot of people say, oh man, you know, how do we do this? I don't know anybody. Well, just you can go to your local volunteer fire department, for instance, um, and talk to the guys. Some of the guys, we like I said, one of our really good guys is on the local volunteer fire department. And so you know a lot of the people here, a lot of the people here ask this question, about which, I got too much stuff going on, man, because something else here. Anyway, so a lot of these people, man, they ask these questions. Go to your local fire department, your volunteer fire department. Go to your gun ranges. Um, Go to your gun stores. Look around. You got to be careful. Obviously, I mean, you don't want some nut job. And that's
Right.
that's not what you look for. You don't want to do this kind of thing. But you know, most of your people that's going to be on your volunteer fire departments, for instance, and things like that are going to be pretty level-headed guys. They have to be. They're rushing into these houses. That maybe someone's trapped in. And you can get a lot of this kind of training, and you can find groups like ours, STAR, and again, we have some email and stuff, and we've got, we know people, and you just got to get out. You got to be, trying to think of how to say this. You got to be outgoing. It's.
Yep.
I've been guilty of sitting on the behind the keyboard here and saying, yeah, man, we need to do something. We need to do something. Man, I wish I need to do something. But you got to be outgoing. You got to get out there and try it.
Yeah, training is available either like through us, but like there's information everywhere. That's if nothing else, that's the wonderful thing about the internet. I spend a lot of time researching and reading stuff through, tactics and gear, and that's one of my side things. I'm an absolute gear junkie. Um, but it's out there, and if nothing else, then email us. And if you're not close enough to make it something, maybe we know people that are. Maybe you're in a different state. There's different training companies and groups everywhere. You have to recognize that you need training in something that you don't know enough about, and then be willing to go find it.
Yeah, like CPR, you can get CPR trained anywhere. I'm CPR AED certified. Uh, that's a $50 class. Things like that you can go do to be able to help people. And SCBA training is one of the easiest things in the world. Beards, they don't really work very well for SCBAs. So just know your area where you can work, know your limitations, and try to push past those limitations when you can.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm getting text messages and stuff. Somebody. Um. Yeah.
On that,
See.
go.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I just circle back to CPR and medical training. Like even if you don't care to get out and do gun stuff or hand to hand or combatives, like at least go get medical training, because you're way more likely to either be involved in like a car wreck, God forbid, or stumble upon another one, um,
Yep.
and be able to render aid that way. Like the odds of me having to actually pull a trigger or go hands on in self defense is extremely low compared to me being able needing to know how to do CPR, stop the bleed, and other medical procedure or basic first aid that you can get.
Right.
So if nothing else, definitely seek that out.
Yeah,
Um,
and
I know one of the things that prompted me to further medical training and then like being more prepared around my vehicle was on the road a lot year before last, and I saw a lot of wrecks on the road, and I saw more cars on fire than I'd seen in my whole life. And I came to realize, hey, I'm not carrying like a fire extinguisher with me. I'm not carrying like anything that's beyond like, hey, I got a basic cut, let me slap a band-aid on it. And then I started building out more stuff and more capability.
yeah, because you may come upon a wreck, and render some first aid, and if you don't know what to do, you again, just like rushing into a bad situation, if you don't know what you're doing, you could actually cause more trouble or get yourself harmed, and one
Yeah.
of the things that my fire chief always told us, every meeting that we went to, he always said, if you don't make it to the fire, you're doing no good. So slow down and know what you're doing, understand what's going on. You want to get to the fire as quickly as possible. You want to get to that wreck as quickly as possible. But when you get there, when you make it, because you have paid attention while you're getting there, once you get there, you already got a little bit of training, a little bit of knowledge of what to do. You look and you're like, oh man, I can't do this. You know, some people might run up and just, you know, want to try to stop the bleed. Well, you know, if you're not doing it right, you're not doing no good. You know, you actually could be pressing in on the wrong place and causing more bleeding. You know, so you got, you know, getting the training is just it. I can't say it enough. You know, the training is what it's all about. So
I like that comment, Jason Mitchell.
that's daddy.
Experience comes with a lot of things. Sometimes you can get bad training, and even in the medical profession, we'll have doctors say, "Don't sew it up." I was on a live stream a couple weeks ago, and uh, Doc Mack, Patriot, I know you've spoke with him before.
Mm-hmm.
He said the one thing to avoid doing in a large deal like that is try to sew someone up, because you don't know what kind of internal trauma that could be, and all you're going to do is cause that bleeding to stay inside, and you don't know what type of materials are inside that could cause an infection. Just sewing a hole up is not going to fix the problem, according to him. I'm not a medical professional by any means. That's not advice, but this is just repeating what an actual doctor has said.
Right.
And
No, because usually if there's a hole, there's a cavity. If you just sew it, you're just sewing the surface level closed. You actually you're not actually treating it. You're just creating a cavity that's filling up with blood and is going to cause other issues. That's why usually if there's a hole, you'll notice like medics packing gauze in it.
yeah,
Yeah, sewing it closed is something to be done after the bleeding is stopped and controlled by a higher level of care than I'm able to render on site.
Right.
wound,
You just want to,
deep
you want,
wounds heal from the inside out.
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, but you know, the blackout mask training can be entertaining. Yes, Arkansas living. I did that before, and that's different. Go each. Well, you know but you know the thing about it is, guys, is that we all see all the craziness. You know, we all see everything going on. You know, there's more and more people on the road. You know, as years go on, it's just it's just everything happening, and you know we're getting natural disasters. We're getting, you know, how many times? I mean, I know I've helped people out of wrecks, not just, you know, through the volunteer fire department. I'm talking, you know, even doing it just going down the road. You know, we saw a wreck one time up in front of us, and basically, so it was this head-on collision, and it was a F-250 versus a Jeep, like one of them Jeep Wranglers, you know, like the newer versions of the Willys, you know what I'm saying? And the Jeep did not fare well, and it killed the guy. But we didn't know for sure if he was dead when we run up on them, and there was a fire under the hood. And we were trying to get the hood open. We got the fire extinguishers, and we were trying to get the hood open to get to the battery, to disconnect the battery. For some reason it was still working. Because what happened was we kept squirting the fire, you know, when we were trying to get the hood open. We couldn't get the hood open, so we just kept squirting it in there on the fire, you know. And see, with the training, you don't run in there and extinguish your whole fire extinguisher. You know what I'm saying? You don't just, you know, it soon as the fire goes out, stop for a second and make sure what's going on in an electrical type fire like that, with the car. If I would have just run in there and just, and done away with my fire extinguisher, then, the Jeep would have caught back on fire. We wouldn't have been able to put it out. And, if the guy was alive, he would have burnt up, we would have been trying to extract him while the vehicle is catching on fire, flaming up more. So little things like that, this training is so important, you know, because it don't just teach you what to do, it teaches you how to do it. It teaches you that calmness, that, man, I know what to do here. I understand that the battery is still hooked up. There's something out there that is shorting out, and it's going to keep catching on fire, because it did until the fire truck got there. Man, I just, and it'd go out for a second, and you'd see it start to smoke again, and it'd catch on fire, and I'd just sit there and watching it. If I didn't have that training, as most people would probably do, you just, just, because you don't know that, and you don't stop to think because you've not had that training. So this is why this training is so important.
Yeah, definitely. And in those cases, that's where a good set of bolt cutters comes in handy. You just cut that negative cable, and you're pretty good as far as power.
Yeah, but I was on my way to work.
Yeah, yeah, I understand.
Truck, and it's just like 6 o'clock in the morning. The other guy was coming off a night shift actually, and well, both vehicles was actually coming off night shifts, and the guy in the Jeep fell asleep and crossed the lane and hit that F-250 head on.
Mm.
And the guy in the F-250, man, because I seen it right, and I seen all everything just, like not blow up like a fire, you know what I'm saying, but just the mist and glass and just, and I was like, oh crap, and I whipped over real quick and run out there, and the guy in the F-250 was already trying to come out of the truck, man, and he's staggering around. He goes to fall, and I'm trying to catch him, and so I don't want him to hit his head, and man, it was a bad deal, but you got to that training, and this is why we are so appreciative that you have brought us on to get to talk about our organization, our group, of training. Man, this is so important.
Right, and another component of training is that it teaches you to be calm under pressure and stress, because for instance, like and the more dire the situation or the higher risk it is, like the more training you need, because the higher the stress is. I know doing competitions for me, like I'll be crushing it on the mats for a month. I get into a competition, I forget half of what I learned. And the same thing applies to shooting, applies to medical, applies to everything. Being able to reason and think during a stressful environment is really something that can only be done through repetition and training it.
Yeah, and even training while under stress helps to keep that going, to where when you are in that stressful situation, it doesn't affect you as much.
Exactly. It's stress inoculation is what it is.
Yeah.
You have to inoculate yourself to, like, okay, say the stress is at, say your max before you just like go into the gray and freeze is stress levels at a 4. Well, train right below that threshold at a 3, and then suddenly now you can go to a 4 and function, and then a 5, all the way up until you're multitasking at something that's pretty significant.
Yep. And then after a point, when you put yourself under so much stress for so long, you start getting twitchy all the time. It's like, what are we doing next?
Yeah.
But it's all in good fun, and we take on the stress ourselves to be able to help others. So that's really, I think, what brings this community together the most, whether it's prepping, defense, everybody is doing this to help everyone around them. And that's what drives us, is to help. Yeah, we can't help other people if we're starving, so we prep. But when we have enough preps for ourselves, we keep prepping for the people that'll be around us, just in case something happens to them. And it's the same with defense, and it's the same with medical training. You learn how to do it so you feel better to be able to help those closest to you, and then you keep going to be able to help more and more people.
Right.
Right. That's why they tell you in a flight, if you ever end up having to put the oxygen mask on, put it on yourself first before you help the person next to you, because I'm no good to you if I can't take care of myself.
Right. Kind of like our fire chief told us, if you don't make it to the fire, man, you can't help nobody. I mean, now we're trying to rescue you too,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was dealing with a lot of pain there for a second. Yeah, what's wrong with you, Mayhem? You all right, buddy? Did you? That's just
Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, so Arkansas Whoop Ass, and NWA Prepper, if y'all are interested and you want to converse, talk, you're welcome to hit any one of us up. Um, I think the more of us that get together, we don't necessarily saying that everybody has to be star, you know what I'm saying? But, if you have your own little thing going on, we should work together. It's
Absolutely.
the more of us that work together, the more the better we can help others, the better we can be together. You know what I'm saying? It's not we're not a, it's this only kind of thing, it's
Right. Yeah. For anything to have effect and last long term, networking and connecting with people around you is required. It has to happen. That's just numbers and logistics.
Yeah. And even smaller groups, like squad size groups, they can still be of big help. And like you said, Patriot, with everyone working together and everyone having training, maybe even a little bit different training in different areas, when everyone works together and communicates together and networks together, it makes everybody better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a disaster happens in the kind of northwest part of Arkansas, and you know I can't make it that far. I've got too much going on already, but maybe I've got a buddy, you know what I'm saying, that someone in our group that lives up there already, because we do, we have people living in all over the state, and so when you a water well guy, that's awesome, man. That's really awesome. So but maybe up maybe where you live, Prepper Network, maybe something happens where you live, and you're like, "Hey, Patriot, man, check it out, man. Here's what happened. You got anybody that can come help?
Mm-hmm.
Tornado come through, man. We really kind of need a few, yeah, bam, we call this guy, he comes over, I mean, that's what networking is about, maybe NWA Prepper has something going on, in his community, and he's got a couple of guys, but he could use some more help, and he's like reaches out, we got 4 guys up there. Hey, give me, 3 hours, and I'll be there, kind of thing, So yeah, we need to be doing this, guys. We need to be tight knit and helping each other, and the more of us there are, the better we're going to be. You know what I'm saying? As a whole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's my dream to be able to get you guys, ADF, ARM, everybody working together, and the preppers too. If we had one huge knockout convention kind of deal where everybody could come together and start collaborating, I think this state would be rocking it as far as all areas of interest we have. But
right. I mean, like the one that you went on, I wasn't there, everybody, so I'm not trying to claim that, but the one that you went on, camping, it's you learn something, it's like, man, I've, had this bag that I thought, yeah, this is going to be, man, look at me, because I'm same way, because it happened to me the other day, it's like, heck yeah, man, I got this thing right, man, it's going to be good. You start actually hiking with that thing and getting out there, and you're like, wait a minute, you know, this son of a gun is heavy. I'm not going to be able to carry this long.
yeah,
Should something disastrous happen, man, I can't carry this thing that long. I'm gonna be shucking stuff. Well, why not shuck stuff now and figure out what it is you can that you need, that you really need, in that bag,
yeah,
kind of thing, So that's so maybe we're having a training, a couple of guys come that's from another one of your, the people you're talking about, and we get together. It's not, nobody. It's about coming together and teaching each other, and learning stuff, man. I mean, you're like, you know,
yeah. I I actually left one group that I was in because I can't I can't say anything bad about them at all because they're great people and a great group. Uh,
mhm,
but it wouldn't look right for me to be a member of one group and then say, "Hey, I'm going to go train with this group. Can we work together at some point?" If I'm not a member of any group, then I can still be that liaison between the two. That's the way I was looking at it anyway, because everybody really has their hearts in the right place. That's what I really like about it. I've sat down with both of your groups. I'm trying to get in touch with ADF a little bit more. I've spoken with leadership, but I haven't had a face to face yet. I would really like to see one huge training deal between everybody because I think everyone would benefit from it one way or another.
right, absolutely. And that's what it's about, about preparedness, about,
Yeah.
it's, everybody needs to understand that it's, I'm going to fix my camera real quick here. Everybody needs to understand that it's not about, um, you know, e- everything is not about picking up a weapon and going out there and doing some, battling somebody or something. It's, that's not, guys, I mean, there's so much more to this that, yes, we're going to train and teach you, if you don't know, how to handle a weapon properly, how to be safe with it, so that you don't accidentally harm somebody with it. I mean, it's a big responsibility when you have a weapon, a firearm, so yeah, we teach that too, but it's about so many more things, than just, you know going out and shooting at targets. There's so much more to it. Man.
Yeah.
We have natural disasters. We have, you know, a lot of this stuff, man. We have first aid. This is all super important. What do you say about that, there, shooter?
Oh, I agree. I it's about bringing people together, and I wish all the groups could come together because I've met and talked to various people from various other groups as well, and I was actually talking to Mayhem about it during that FTX of like if we could all just kind of set aside our little bit of petty differences here and there and
Exactly.
come together, then geez, if nothing else, the amount of knowledge that we could pull together is mind blowing. Because like I know some stuff y'all don't know. Y'all know a lot of stuff I don't know, and uh, there's nothing greater than being able to teach somebody else something useful and important. And if all the groups could come together, it would be absolutely amazing. And hopefully one day that's possible. Something I would love to see. Just because there
Yeah.
is so much knowledge out there that's going to waste being held. And if we can bring people together, then, I just think it's a wonderful thing.
I do want to say this too. By the way, I just I I'm pretty sure that Daddy and Mayhem will be okay with this. About what? Well, let me just ask this because Mayhem's in the chat. Mayhem, about the phone call that you gave me the other day to ask about another person and position and stuff. Are you cool with me talking about that real quick? About what went on, because I want to talk about the level of you know putting the petty stuff aside. Um, and it
Yep.
has to do with the chief thing also.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, Mayhem, appreciate that, man. All right. So here's the deal. I was actually over my whole section. You know what I'm saying? My area, like I was head top over all of it. I'm starting this lawn care business. I've got a lot of things going on. We had a member that is come in, and he has a lot less things going on than I do. You know what I'm saying? And Mayhem reached out to me, and he said, "Hey man, look, here's something I wanted to ask you about." And he asked me about it. He said, would you be cool with this? And the first words out of my mouth was, "Man, what's best for our group? What's best for, yes, I do agree, man. I've got a lot going on. If this guy can devote more time to the top leadership of this area, you know, um, man, I'm cool with that, and that's the attitude we've got to have, guys, is that, maybe it's not that he can lead any better than I could, or it's not, we're not supposed to be like that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's more of the fact that he has more time to do, to be an effective leader. And I want what's best for the group, because we need to come together. So, I said, yeah, man, no problem. So I'm manager, just, one step below. I mean, man, it's all good to me. I'm cool with it, man. And that's the attitudes we need to have, guys, is that, you know, maybe you're pretty good at something, but maybe there's someone that's just a little better, that steps up to the plate, and we need to recognize that, and we need to not be selfish, because when you're selfish, you harm each other. You harm others. You don't just harm yourself, but you harm others as well. So stepping up, you know, someone stepping up to the plate that's got a little more experience, or they got a little more time to put into it. These are the things that we need to recognize this, and say, I want what's best for my group, man. I want us to come together. I want us to be effective when there's a tornado that comes through. I want us to be effective in going out there and helping someone, man. This is what this stuff's supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing what's going on in the chat. It's sad. Um, there are many people who want to wear big hats and not really want to be a follower. And we got to understand this, guys. Just because you want to wear that big hat doesn't mean that it fits you. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to understand that. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I just can't devote the time that needs to be devoted to it. This other guy can. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I've said many times I'm not a leader. Back when the network was an actual group, um, I pretty much proved to myself that I'm not a leader. I don't want to be a leader. Uh, when we split up, then the Arkansas Preparedness Network came into focus, and they got big. They got real good. They went to a lot of trainings, did a lot of stuff. And then January came around, and they all got smacked down hard by social media and pretty much taken out of the picture. So that was time for us to step back up and try to fill that void, because we had closed everything down to make room for them.
Right.
And uh, one of the members that was over that was in chat earlier, and I'd like to get everybody back together, but I don't want to lead anything. I'm good with PR and all this technical stuff, but that's where my skills stay, because right. I'm not a leader. But I would like to see someone else step up and be able to say, hey guys, we need to get this done. Mm-hmm. Because where I lack in my skills, someone else has those skills. Why not let them use them? I don't have to be top dog. I really don't want to be.
You know what I can tell you that's really cool about Jace Daddy? Our top guy. Something that's really cool about this dude is that I was with them, over at another group, and he was not top and didn't ever try to push to be the top. He led a special group, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was kind of a special side group, that was in, you know what I mean? But he didn't, he did what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's so cool about him, is that he does lead our group now. He oversees everything, and we give him respect. He gives us respect. Man, everything is cool. We respect each other. We understand. Just like a while ago, just the phone conversation that I had with Mayhem. I respect him enough to ask him first if it's okay if I talk about it. And this is the kind of thing we got to have, man. And we need to get along and get together. There is an old saying that says, what is it? United we stand, and divided
we fall. Yep.
And
Absolutely.
you could actually say united we stand and divided we fail.
Yeah.
We will fail. You know what I'm saying? So we need to keep that in mind. Divided we will fail. It's when you got that person over there to pick you up and say, hey man, I got you, brother. That's when it counts. You know what I'm saying? That's when okay, this is good stuff.
Yeah. Meeting those guys, I was impressed, to say the least. I've been around a lot of people, and as accepting, and because I know my weaknesses, but they didn't, and I was honest about my weaknesses, and they understood, and they worked with me on that. And that is a true leader, is somebody that can understand, okay, this guy sucks at this, and he realizes he sucks at this, but he wants to get better. So let's help him. Let's put on the the training wheels and get him up on just the two. But
yeah, I mean that's the whole point, is that if you truly want to train somebody and lift them up, because it may be something that they really struggle with, and man, they're really struggling with this, and if you just beat them down, they're going to give up quickly. You know, they're gonna be like, man, screw this. I'm not no good at it anyway, and you're just dogging me out. I'm done. You know, but if you lift them up and you help them, you know, and be patient with them, you can really, you can really be effective in helping that person to get better, you know, at where they might suck at, you know, because I suck at some stuff, you know. Believe it or not, guys, I know, I know. Y'all are gonna say there's no way Patriot sucks at anything, but I'm kidding. This sorry joker down here, by the way, flipped me over on my back, man. I'm an old man. He's an old young feller.
Hey, you volunteered for it.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah. We gotta get back to it though. But no, like understanding how to work with people in training is essential to learning anything. Like I've never seen somebody get better by being yelled at and belittled for not knowing something or not knowing the proper way to do it. So taking time to show somebody how to do it and get it right, it pays so much dividends in the long run.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've never been to a professional class where the instructor jumped somebody out over them making a mistake over something they didn't know. I've seen people flag other people at ranges and they get jumped out pretty bad about that, but other than
Mhm.
something that's like a safety violation like that, in which case you deserve it. But in terms of like doing something incorrectly, like a technique or something, nobody that's professional yells at a student for something like that.
Yeah. Unless, like you said, if it's something that could get somebody really hurt or killed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the only exception to that. But yeah, my 2 cents there.
Yeah. I mean, what type of, you said jujitsu earlier.
Mhm.
What type of hand to hand do you prefer teaching?
I prefer jiu-jitsu. I'm more familiar with it. I haven't done a lot of stand-up in a while. To be entirely honest, it's really just enough for me to intelligently defend myself, to get into a clinch, to grab a takedown, and then go for a choke or some form of joint lock, to use the term broadly. But I prefer grappling, like jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I find it,
Brazilian or
yes, yeah, Brazilian
sweet?
jiu-jitsu. I find it more applicable and safer to use, um, because I've met dudes that are my size with glass chins, and some of them that just won't go out. And it doesn't matter like how good I am stand up. If I can get it on the ground, I can. The odds of me being able to, for the record, I'm a relatively small guy. On a good day, I weigh about 145. So for me to be able to stand up and go hands on and strike with a guy that's 180, 6 foot, or I'm relatively short as well. I'm like 5'7". So um, being able to know how to control somebody's arms and movements. Yeah. I like giving hugs, with the side of no, no. I like grappling. It's much more applicable. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's unlikely that I'll be able to knock somebody out that's significantly larger than me. But I can choke them to sleep all day.
Yeah, and he can flip you on your hind end too. I weigh about 175, and he flipped me on my hind end like it wasn't nothing.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
telling you. He's
Well,
like,
you get to take it at that point. You get to take one of the beautiful things about grappling is you get to take advantage of leverage, momentum, and well, leverage, center of gravity. It all kind of plays in together.
And having a lower center of gravity helps in that situation.
Hmm. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's more. I find I like. I kind of view striking a little bit as like checkers, and there's some absolute artists in terms of striking that would disagree, and they have every right to. Um, bully with a short man complex. That's oof. If it wasn't accurate, I'd be resentful. But But no, really, I like jujitsu because it's like playing chess. Um,
Yeah.
as one of the Gracies, and I can't remember which one said, is like, you do this, I do this, you do this, I do this, and it goes on forever. And yeah, I don't know. That's my wheelhouse. I like grappling.
Arkansas Whoop Ass had mentioned, I've heard that after about 30 seconds, all fights end up on the ground. That's been my consensus, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I love fighting. Even
You'll
though in law enforcement, they teach you to never go on the ground because you have a sidearm. That's my favorite place. I don't know. That's just,
yeah, and there's ways to work that too. Like a part of it, they tell you not to go to the ground because if you don't know what you're doing, it can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know how to control somebody's ability to move, then yeah, probably don't go to the ground. But if you have even so the skill gap of somebody that has never done any sort of martial arts training, and is particularly grappling, versus somebody that's been a white belt for like 2 weeks at a gym, the skill gap there is so like significant that yeah, it's I know that like I've seen people come in day one, and I call them sleepers, but usually it's because they're high school wrestlers, and I tend to, like, if they're new, go easy, but then we'll like slap hands, and the first thing that's happening is this double leg. I'm like, okay, I've got to take this up a notch. But then I'll get a hold of somebody that is brand new day one, and I'm like, stuff that I would normally have to work to get, like I'd have to work to pass a guard or to grab a takedown, like it's just happening. So even just a little bit of training goes a very long way. Um, and to go back a little bit to where you said all fights end up on the ground after about 30 seconds, there's a video a guy put out on YouTube. His job is like a data analyst. Just all he does all day is crunch numbers. As a just a side project he thought would be fun, he watched like a couple thousand hours worth of street fights on YouTube. Yeah. And started crunching the numbers on how many stayed standing up, how many were one punch knockouts, how many were 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, gave the percentage of how they were won or lost. And it's yeah, it's very eye opening. I can't. You'd have to find the video, and I can't remember who put it out. But I want to say that obviously 1-on-1 it's 50-50, but like 80% of them ended up on the ground at some point, and for multiple opponents, I think it was like 30% came out on top, the 1 versus 2, and then it was a ridiculously number. It was like in the decimal points. It was like point something percent for 3-on-1, and essentially out of like 200 fights that he saw, that was 2-on-1, like 3-on-1. One guy actually walked away from all three. It was
wow.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, I think that's something that he touched on a minute ago is very important to get this information out there with any of the ladies that may watch this or anything, is that a little bit of training goes a long ways, because maybe your attacker is, maybe he's Mr. WWE. I don't know, but maybe he's just some average Joe that's a piece of crap, like an attacker would be. And, that little bit of training, you can get, and it can maybe get, help you to get that move, that you actually get the advantage, and, it can help you to get away, and save yourself, so, that's our stuff right now. I mean, everything we're doing, it's free, so you can come and learn this stuff, I mean, it's, you're welcome to come to one of our trainings if you live in the state of Arkansas, and because we train at different locations. We have different locations. Little Rock, down where's the town Mayhem, the down in southeastern Arkansas anyway, or southwestern Arkansas. But the thing about it is that we've got one up here by where I live at, north of Conway. We have different training areas, so you're maybe there's one a little closer to you that you want to come to. Just come and join in, and have a good time, and maybe you like what you do. Yeah, Bullfrog, you need to get a lot of training, big son.
I want to circle back just for a split second on a little bit of training goes a long way. I can't remember the exact one, but there was a very prolific serial killer way back in the day, and they interviewed all of his victims, and the one thing that they had in common was that they were the only ones that fought back. As soon as he met even just a minimal amount of resistance, he turned and ran. Everybody else died. So even just a little bit of training to give you the confidence to fight back can be entirely game changing. And I want to say there was over a dozen of them. So even just a little bit goes a long way.
Don't live life in fear of anything.
Nope.
Total.
And if you do fear something, test it and keep pushing until you're no longer afraid.
I gotta go shark diving then.
Total hatred. I am north of Conway. Just put it that way. I'm north of Conway. Yeah, Mayhem. I was going to bring up some matter of importance on a name change for Shooter. Instead of Shooter, we're gonna just call him Saki.
Peppermint Patty.
We can throw Circle Back in there, a Circle Back, and stuff,
I've caught myself saying it after making fun of her enough times. Peppermint Patty over there. I'm so sick of I love redheads, but I am sick of seeing that one. Just saying that.
Well, the thing is, like, y'all make really good points, and I have a thought on it, and then we move on one. I'm like, I want to touch on that one, so hence we keep going back.
I got an answer for you, NWA Prepper. What if I'm afraid of running out of toilet paper? Well, I'll simply tell you that this world survived for a long time without toilet paper. There's multiple ways. Save your old socks. You got old shirts. You can wash them. Think about babies' diapers. That in the old days they used cloth diapers. They washed them and cleaned them. And cleaned them. You can also go to a hardware store.
Oh, he knows.
I know. I'm just letting you know I can answer that question.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, toilet paper is like the biggest farce that's been put on our population. Go buy brown washcloths and wash them if you're really that worried.
You can go.
I'm not saying that to you, NWA.
You seriously can go to the hardware store, and down there where your commode, where your water comes out of the wall to go to your commode, your supply line, you can actually put tea on top of that, and you can buy a sprayer, just like the one that's on your kitchen faucet. Your little sprayer. You can buy one of them, spray off, wipe off with a towel, wash the towel, you're good.
Yeah, we know NWA. This is for everybody else watching that not necessarily into prepping, or anybody that stumbles across this video whenever. Toilet paper is not a necessity, especially in the prepping world. Is it a comfort item? Yeah, but it's not needed. Yeah, totally. Exactly, Harvey. A bidet.
Total hatred. I I actually went to Bologna, and a couple of times that Bologna's been hit with tornadoes, I've been over there helping that community. I've been volunteering doing that kind of stuff for a long time, man. I really enjoy doing it. I really do not enjoy going and seeing the devastation and the sadness on people. It's tough, to see someone that's lost everything, but I do enjoy going and helping them people any way that I can. Maybe it's just help them gather their things up that's strewn across the yard, and help them cut a few limbs down, or trees up, whatever. So yeah, I total hatred. I've been over there to the Bologna tornadoes.
That tornado is what actually got me into prepping. One that came through our area back in '96, and I'll never forget the way people reacted. And then the guard came in. It was a life-changing moment for sure.
Yep. And that's why you prep. That's why you train. That's why you go and get the skills, the training to be able to not only help someone else but to help yourself too, because it may be your house that gets hit. you know I mean, it's a bad thing to say, I know, but maybe it's your house that gets hit, and you want to know how to even do the stuff at your own place, how to help your family, because that's really the most important, is your family right there, and helping them out and so forth.
And NWA, yeah, uh, you know better than a lot of people based on your profession, but uh, just being in that can break you down to a different level of understanding. When you're helping people, when your own home is gone and you're sitting there trying to help other people, you know, push a wall up or push a bed up off of somebody else, uh, it really changes your perspective.
Yes, it does, man. um I don't know, is there, I mean, what is people in the chat got questions, about anything, because I mean, we can only train so much and we can only know so much, but the more training we do, the more we're going to know, the more that we get into it, the more times that when you do happen upon a disaster, when something does happen, the more you train, the more you can be involved and help, and be a part of helping someone, that's super important.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
Start with yourself and work your way out.
When the tornadoes come through my town, there was a road up here where it went across, and I mean, it just, man, there was, I don't know, there was probably 50, 60 trees down in this road, and there was quite a few houses on down that road, and we, of course, all the communications were down. Um, we couldn't we couldn't know if they were safe. They couldn't get out, and we just pulled up to where the trees were down on the road and just started cutting, and just kept cutting through and cutting through, and cutting through. We worked all night long. I worked, man, I worked a lot. And we finally cut it through, and got through and was able to. There was a couple of houses that was damaged, and a couple of people that were, one person that was injured, and we were able to get to them. It's but it was kind of,
Yeah. I do have a question. Patriot, Shooter, Mayhem, Daddy. Uh, is there an event that, like a training event, that you would invite everyone out to, that you would be comfortable putting up on screen or even speaking about?
um, I mean, all of our we do nothing illegal. Okay, first off, so
Yeah.
let's. I want to say it. I want to start out by saying we do nothing illegal, so we have nothing to hide. You know what I'm saying? So any of our training events are open if you want to come and look at maybe being a part, of this. You want to come out and hang out. Like I said, we always do something with food. This last training that we went to, um, the host, the house that we trained at, man, they brought some. They were brat burgers, right, Shooter?
Yes, yes,
Yeah, they were
fantastic.
the man. They were the brat burgers. They cooked up a bunch of brat burgers and mac and cheese, and had fresh vegetables and stuff. Man, it was freaking good, man. We throwed down, you know. So all of our um I can Mayhem can put up, yeah, the next training event schedule is they are promotion and awards, yes. Our very next one, but we don't, like I said, as far as it goes for the training events coming up, later coming up, we're not trying to hide anything, man.
Yeah. I know everyone is fully in compliance with the law. Harvey had asked a question if we were familiar with what was going on in Canada, and I've heard a little bit about it. Um, I know that would not apply here as much because of the way our laws protect us under that, even though they are being eroded. Um, the way
Remember,
that, go ahead.
well, I was going to say, remember, Harvey Black and Arkansas whoop ass, rights are given away, they're not
Yeah.
taken. Just remember that rights are given away, they are not taken from you. They can only take them if you allow them to have them.
Bullfrog, I agree with that 100%. Uh, that's why I really think we need to have a convention here in the state, and I would be willing to help on anything that would bring something like that together.
Yeah. And yes, Max, Mad Max, freaking how about them hogs, baby? Huh? 4-0 for the first time in, I don't know, ever. How can you not be happy about it, man? Come on, man. Cool, Harvey.
Razorbacks,
I'll check that out. Go ahead.
Razorbacks may be doing good this season, but I think the Battlebacks, all of you, be able to make a whole lot better changes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We'll be 16 years, Jason said. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. If anything you guys want to know or whatever, hit any of us up.
Now, outside of the email address, what other ways do you have of being contacted? Patriot through your channel, I'm guessing.
Yeah. My email is gone fishing, FISHIN, gonefishing.bm@gmail.com. You're welcome to hit me up anytime. And like I said, this doesn't necessarily mean just in the state of Arkansas. If you're in another state, and you want to kind of know what we're doing and how, legally and how we're doing everything by the book. We don't break the law, man. I mean, it's, you know, you're welcome to hit any of us up. Freaking mayhem. Can you block? Can I block? No, he's a mod. I was gonna say, can I block him? Roll Tide. We're gonna roll Tide up. Watch and see. It's gonna happen this year.
But yeah, the is there anything else that y'all would like to discuss about Star specifically that you, I know you have the open enrollment, trying to bring people in. What what type of event would you like to run eventually to be able to get everyone to break bread together? And I mean, y'all welcomed me in uh, without knowing who I was, other than being up here on a camera. And just what do you envision in that?
Well, I just, okay, so I'm gonna be straightforward honest, okay? I think that's the best policy always, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. But I'm gonna be straightforward honest. It really gets tiring, or it really hurts my feelings, I guess you can say, whenever I see a lot of people talking about, what's going on. A lot of people are saying, we got to do something about it. We got to do this. We got, this is happening, that's happening. But then when you offer a training, and when you talk about it, people, well, I ain't got time. Well, I got family. I got this. Well, I got family too. I'm trying to start a business of my own. I got, kids that play sports and freaking homeschooling a kid. I mean, I got a lot on my plate too, just like everyone else. Yes, I can't make every single training, but I try, and I make a lot of the trainings, and you know, it's when you're going and only 5 people are showing up, for instance, to train, and you got 50 people out there that's like, yeah, yeah, man, I'm down, I'm down, and then when it's time to show up, it's only 5, and it saddens me. I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to give up. But it's like, man, if we had 30 of that 50 show up, you know what I'm saying? Man, we could make such a difference, because you come from different parts of the state and things like that, and you when you do this, I know that, man, if Plain Havoc freaking hits me up and he's like, "Hey, man, we had this happen here. I need people. I need some help, man." I can be like, "Dude, I'm on my way. Let me hit up so and so and so and so, man." And because I know I can depend on them. They've been training. They've been putting forth the effort. Because like I said before, maybe the next time one of them uh, people that don't show up, you know, maybe they're the ones that get in that disaster and need that help, and we come to their rescue, because we're still going to come to the rescue regardless if you show up or not. You know what I mean? To the training. I mean, it's because, we're about helping each other. But, maybe you're that person and later on you go, man, I wished I would have been to that training. I, I, it was me and my family that are in this disaster, and I kind of had to stand back and let all the guys that I'm supposed to be training with do all the work to save my family, because I wasn't at the training and didn't know what to do for my
Yeah,
own family. That's kind of the thing I guess I wanted to push, is think about it deeper.
yeah. The problem is, in some cases, You go to training for defense, you go to training for prepping. Eventually, if you're in more than one area, if you go to all of these trainings, you don't have anything for the home either. So you have to have a balance. Like you said, you're starting a business, everything else. You can't make it to all the trainings, but you're with one group. Say someone um, is very heavy into prepping, but also dabbles in defense. If they're doing events on one thing but not the other, how do you find that balance?
Well, I mean, well, for instance, for my business, luckily because I have my own business, I don't work weekends. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of helps out a lot. And my kids, their sports are mostly through the week, but there's sometimes on the weekend, because my wife as well, she works a lot, and she actually has some side stuff that she does for extra money, so sometimes she just wants to relax. Like tomorrow, for instance, my wife and I are going to go to Conway. We're going to go and do a little shopping. We're going to go out to eat. You've got to find that balance of family, but you also got to find that balance of being in a, community, being in a community and helping. You know what I'm saying? And getting that training and getting to know people. So I know that I can call, this person. I know I can call that person. Maybe my wife has to, go to Little Rock, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? I know a couple of fellers down there that if something happened with my wife, breakdown, car accident, whatever, maybe I'm doing my lawn care and some of my yards, some of my properties are like way out in the boondocks. It takes me like way longer to drive there than it does to do the property. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm 2 hours away, you know, from and I know a couple of old fellers towards Little Rock. I could be like, hey, bro, because we've gotten that relationship, because we
Right.
are finding that balance, between our families. Maybe one of their wives or maybe one of their older kids, are closer to me, and something happens, I can go and make sure they're safe, and take care of them,
Yep.
and that's the kind of things that we need to understand about a community, and an organization, a group, a network. We need to understand this about, sometimes it's not just about you getting some training. Sometimes it's not just about your family. Sometimes it's not just about, you know, any particular thing. It's about the whole forest. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Yeah.
whole forest of things that you look at. Does that answer your question, kind of?
Yeah, and a lot of that plays into a spouse or significant other being supportive of this as well, because without that, you could end up in a situation where that balance actually hurts your relationship if it's not played out right. I'm fortunate that I have support in that area. Others, not so much. Um, I know Arkansas Whoopass has mentioned on his channel kind of a similar situation. He didn't have that same kind of support. So that's the one thing that I worry about anybody in this community. If they push and focus too much on one thing and not as much on the home, then you're not doing yourself any favors
Right.
other than learning one thing and pushing another away. So finding that balance is really important.
Yeah. Some of the training we and I may get corrected by some people here in um, Mayhem and Jason, but like if we're doing a live firing event, you know what I'm saying, a real practice, training deal. I don't know, about having so much, kids around, you know what I'm saying, just You know, I mean, there are times when we should be training the kids, you know, but depending on their age group and stuff. But pretty much, I mean, the events, I mean, you know, man, maybe your wife and children are, you know, or if you're a woman and you're in the group, you know, maybe your husband and your children ain't got nothing better to do that day, you know, bring them with you, you know, hang out, you know, let's be a family, you know, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's not, we're not trying to, you know, say, man, you know, dude, you can only come to this, you know, do not bring your wife, you know, we don't do that. I mean, it's not about that, you know, it's because, you know, for you to be involved in something, man, it's so important for your family to be involved as well, you know, so we welcome that. I mean, it's not, you know, would you shut up, Mayhem? Well, you know, I'll tell you what, you know, Mayhem, you know that the fact of it is that you were supposed to be up here and you parked at a crappy truck stop that you have no freaking internet, you know, and you went
You
into the
know,
Dollar Tree, you went to buy that Dollar Tree internet, and that's why you can't even be up here on the screen. So you leave it up to me because you know, Shooter ain't gonna say nothing much. He hardly talks.
I just nah. I just wait for my cue on something that I know something about. No, I mean you're summing everything up great, so I'm just gonna let you keep talking.
Make me feel all.
now I'll say that I have support in this area, NWA, but I can't even get my wife to throw certain scraps out for the chickens. It always ends up in the trash, and I have to dig through the trash. Now, what kind of support structure is that? No, I'm just giving her a hard time because she's not going to watch this.
But yeah, I know kind of how it is being like the only person that's involved in anything like this. That's how it is for me and my family. Like, uh, I'm single, but like I can't. My dad's one of those people that's always like has this very abstract plan of how he would deal with whatever situation, but then takes no steps to prepare for it. You know,
Right.
it's like, yeah, we're gonna go hide in the woods, and great. Now what?
Along with
So
everybody else.
yeah, yeah, and so that puts a that I shoulder a lot of that pressure to try and pick up the slack on it. So I know exactly how that is. It's it can be challenging for sure.
Yeah.
Them jokers. I'm gonna tell y'all. Next time we have an airsoft event, y'all are all gonna pay for this. I promise. Be careful who you teammate with. You
As long
know.
as there's no more poison sumac.
Ooh.
Hey, be careful who you teammate with there, Jason. You know.
It's fine. I'll
Mayhem.
carry whoever's team I'm on.
Mayhem. Be careful who you teammate with. You know.
That rope in the middle of the night, whenever you go out into the middle of the woods, it might just snap.
Next camping event, I don't know. You know, um, that would really suck for your tent to just fall down in the middle of the night. You know, wake up to try to unzip your zipper and it's got like crud all over it, mud, Vaseline,
What
something. You
what
know,
color is your tetrahedron?
huh?
What color is your tetrahedron? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Um, Jason has a snotty nose, man. I don't want to bunk with that joker.
No, that was definitely a learning experience. One that I think everyone should do at least once. Push yourself. Any training you do, no matter if it's self-defense, if it's just hiking with a pack, push yourself, and hopefully the others around you push you to do more than what you think you can do. Uh, Train hard, train often.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
I mean, I don't know what else you want us to, if there's any more. Oh gosh, man. Has anybody else got any questions? I mean, it's it's something I think everybody should get out and do. To get out and to train and to work and to be out in nature, man. It's awesome. It's I went and walked around in the woods yesterday to look over my deer hunting spot, and I had a good time, man. I enjoyed it. It was a little warm. Had my snake boots on and stuff, and got a good sweat in, hiking up and down around them hills and stuff, and getting everything, just kind of doing some scouting, and it was just fun being out in the woods, being away from everything.
Always. It's kind of a. I don't know if any of you have read Marcus Aurelius Meditations, but I suggest everyone pick up or read a little bit of that, because just like what you said, going out in the woods, kind of find a center. And it's not this, yoga stuff. Oh, find Om Namaste. None of that. It's 2,000 years old. The guy really thought about his own mental processes. At the end of the day, he went through what he could have done better. And his perspective of life wasn't just what he did, it was how he reacted to himself and how he behaved within himself. Walking through the woods for me brings me to center. I don't know if it's the same for you, but just being in nature itself
Mhm.
has a way to really put a perspective on how you behave. I don't know.
I think that I think that's something very important too. I did include it in my new bug out kit or my new survival camping kit, whatever. Something that's very important, and you had just said it basically, that the guy had evaluated, what he did, uh, what happened, what he did wrong, things like that. What I included in was a notebook, a journal to write down when you go out into the woods and you go camping or whatever, write down in that journal, just things that you see, things that you done wrong, things that that, man, I need to change this. You know what I'm saying? It's you having that journal on you, it's very important. That way, when you get back, you can evaluate yourself and you can look over and say, hey, you know what? I didn't really need this and this and this in that kit. Can't really see it. Just play pretties is all they are. That adds weight. I can get this right here, take off some weight, and use this a whole lot more after being out there and seeing what I did, and what I needed.
Yeah. Uh, you were talking about the cool gear effect earlier. Uh, they can pretty well say I'm using an antique bag.
Mayhem. Just laughing at what Mayhem said. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. The But yeah, use what you have, but always improve what you have.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can confidently say that buck 50 little wire saw from Walmart is,
Sucks.
yeah, don't waste your money.
Yeah.
It won't even
Yeah.
get you to a good limb, so.
Yeah, no doubt. Total hatred. Hammock camping is actually pretty fun. If you know it's not going to rain or anything else, with a regular hammock, one of those parachute ones that you can get in a ball about that big, they're great. I just got a new one that actually has a top and a mosquito net because I just hate mosquitoes. But with that and a tarp, you'd be surprised at how comfortable it is. But that almost sounds scary, Mayhem.
Oh boy, Havoc and Mayhem in the same place. That'd
It
be
was
a fun
fun.
recipe. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. The one thing that I did take away negative from that was the poison sumac that I apparently went through. I actually, my left leg was covered in it, and I stripped the skin back thinking it was chiggers instead of sumac, because I look for and avoid any poison ivy, any of that. But uh, after a lot of medication, my left leg is finally starting to heal.
Wow.
It was infected from the above my knee all the way down to my ankle, and it was getting bad enough that I was going to have to go to the hospital. It was a really crazy, crappy ordeal, but I wouldn't trade it in because of the experience. So it was worth it.
Glad it was worth it. I generally don't handle poison ivy or sumac quite so well. I get a hold of that, and then my toughness level plummets.
Yeah, it didn't bother me that night.
Hmm.
With all the sweat and everything else, it just went through the pants that I was wearing, and unfortunately, I wore those throughout the night and the next day as well on the way back, which was a 2.5 hour trip back.
Yep.
And needless to say, my left leg still looks like it has been hit by a porcupine all over. But, and that's been what, a month ago almost?
Yeah, about. Wow.
But, yeah, a lot of antibiotics. And if I hadn't had antibiotics, I probably wouldn't have that leg now. It was bad.
Whoa.
And that's why you keep a medical kit also in your
Yeah.
camping bag. I mean, it's super important. Buy a decent medical kit.
Hmm.
But what medical kit do you have that treats after the fact?
For sumac and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just have it has the cream, for it. I mean, that's, it'll at least help you until you can get better treatment. You know what I'm saying? It's not supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, calamine and everything else helped about that much.
No, I wasn't with y'all at that one. That don't mean I ain't camped out before, because I've camped out a many a nights. I used to go camping all the time. We had one place up where I used to live at in Saline County, and you go up, there's some mountains and stuff up in there, some pretty good areas. We used to go up in there in the woods and stuff, and we'd just pull off the trail, pull off the road in the truck and just take off up the mountain and go camp out. We used to do that all the time. Sticky white mud. All of our mud here is red or brown though.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to get up northern side of the state for the white clay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Get a bag, first aid kit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I definitely like that.
Yeah.
NWA Prepper actually carries one on his site, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, when I started my lawn care business, especially because I'm going so far out, I actually went back there to in Walmart, back into the tool section where they got their toolboxes, and they got this little tool bag. It zips up, folds into a triangle once you zip it, and
Mhm.
it was $5 for the tool bag,
Cool.
and it's pretty good size little tool bag, nice little deal. And then I went over to the first aid aisle and just started into the camping aisle, and the snake bite kit, bee sting kit. I bought one of them, put it in there, and just went over to the first aid aisle and started buying some just different things, alcohol, peroxide, some ivy, poison ivy, poison sumac, uh, band-aids, all that stuff,
Yeah.
aspirins, things like that. Because I'm way out in the middle of nowhere, so ain't no stores where I go and do my work for a long ways.
You're actually doing Mulberry Mountain Mayhem? That's where I would love to have a prepper convention.
Yeah, that's coming up October
So,
2nd.
okay.
Anybody, Mayhem saying anybody who wants to come and do a meet and greet at Mulberry Mountain on October the 2nd at the campgrounds there, you're welcome to show up and hang out.
Which side is it? Mayhem?
I'm not sure which side of the mountain is.
No, I mean, which actual camping site? Because they've got several.
I've got it saved. I'll have to look it all up. I was just gonna the Friday before gonna print out a map.
Because we can actually put that up on our website and help advertise if you want.
My mowing business is called Backwoods Lawn Care because pretty much when I do lawn care, it's out in the woods. On a general consensus, what's the general consensus on how bad the next few years might get? Shooter, that's a question in the chat.
In the next, how long?
Few years.
I mean, you have to kind of plan and prepare for possibly the worst. I think it's hard to predict because I don't think anybody saw last year coming. Maybe some did, but it's man. I honestly I can't answer how bad it could possibly be. But I know if you don't take steps to prepare yourself in any way now, no matter what happens, you're not going to stand a chance for it. I don't necessarily think that we'll have like a giant, nuclear war or anything like that. I think we'll either be dealing with more political unrest or civil. It's going to what you're seeing now is an eroding of the rights that a lot of people don't even know that they have, and eventually they're going to get bold enough to do something crazy. But yeah,
You want to show that again?
I was showing them smart asses in the chat. That smart ass Jason and Mayhem. There you go.
You're already invoicing us, and you haven't even mowed yet.
Well, I gotta have an invoice for if I do get to mow somebody's yard. Some people don't care about having them, but I do mow for a company, so they prefer an invoice, so
Yeah.
they can put it on in their records.
So, okay, on the business side of things, anyone here that sells stuff or even has a business of any kind, what does everyone think about the way the new IRS rules on our banks? Anything over $600 in the bank, any income can be looked at, and that's a $2 sell at a yard sale that gets deposited into your bank. That is now taxable. This is the kind of stuff that we're going to run into, to where everybody's going to have issues and everybody's going to be paying in and getting less back.
not a fan. Don't like it at all.
Well,
It's free reign for them to dig into. It's completely removes any privacy of finances and transactions.
Yep.
I think at if it does, at best everybody goes to cash, and or potentially I think it'll give more credence and rise to start using digital currencies, but it's not tied to the U.S. dollar. But that's a whole other can of worms, or
Yeah.
can be. But if that happens, you'll start to see a lot of cash transactions. Would be my guess for the everyday person, because your digital currencies, for instance, Bitcoin or something like that, they're not accepted everywhere, and they're not as prevalent to the common everyday person. But I think if that happened, I think you would see a massive influx of people into the digital crypto space, personally.
That's kind of where I was leading to. What would everyone think about? Because I've actually been working on something, just dabbling with it. What would y'all think about a prepper digital currency?
I don't like digital.
Mhm.
I only keep enough money in the bank to pay my bills and to have $50, $75 over that so that we can get gas or whatever. We try to do cash as much as possible. Sometimes I do use my card. I'll put extra $100 in there. But I try to use cash as much as possible. I don't like keeping money in any accounts more than what I need. I've been hacked before. I went, and I'm still not. I never did get an answer for sure of where it come from, but basically, some years back, I got paid. My wife had just got paid. Had good, amount of money in the bank account. I went to a gas station. I went to Taco Bell. I went to Wally World, and I went to the tobacco store. And 2 days later, I get a phone call. They said, "Did you charge 900 and something dollars at this?" I can't even remember the name of the company, but I looked it up. Of course, I was like, "No, I don't even know who that is." And I looked it up real quick. I was buying a computer and looked it up, and it was they sell fine crystal, like these crystal wine glasses and crystal thing. Man, it was $950. There was another purchase for $700 and something dollars, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, no, that's not us." So after that, what I started doing, any money that we do keep in the bank, we keep a certain amount in a savings account that is completely separate from our debit card.
Mm-hmm.
And what I can, and we keep a certain amount in there so that, say, me and the wife are somewhere and we need, extra $50, extra $100, my wife can real quick go in there and do the online banking and switch the money over to our debit account. The rest of the money, it stays in a safe, cash. And sometimes it's a little hard to get certain amounts of cash from the bank.
Yeah, they certainly look
They,
at you sideways
yeah,
after a
they
bit.
they're yeah, they're like, why you need this much cash?
Yeah, yeah.
Frequently because.
I went and pulled a significant amount out earlier to help my brother with his business and buying a truck. And like the manager came out and was like, "Hey, are you sure this is okay? Like, you're not being scammed or coerced, are you?" I'm like, "No, no, no, no." And I had to explain what was going on. But uh, touching on some of the crypto concerns, so crypto is traceable, but the way it's traced is by the wallet addresses and the transaction IDs. The hard part is assigning a name and person to those wallet addresses and transaction IDs. And I use Bitcoin really as a general reference to cryptocurrencies. There's actually fully private currencies. You'd have to go to Monero is the common one for that one. Um, that is very private and secure. It's a whole conversation of how they actually change and jumble up the transactions IDs because like you have the whole blocks. So conversely, on the other side of it, I'm a very big digital guy. I've been in and out of it for a couple years now. Sometimes it's been very successful, and other times I wish I hadn't did what I done because I'd be a little better off. But no, and then so to get hacked for, say, you're holding whatever Bitcoin X amount, fill in the blank, your wallet can get hacked only if they guess your passphrase. Like, for instance, if you're running a desktop wallet, they would have to gain access to your desktop, your username, and your password. For them to access your wallet somewhere else, each wallet is tied to a 12 randomly generated. So each wallet is locked with a seed phrase that's 12 words that are randomly generated. So they would have to guess all 12 words in the exact order. And the
Yep.
probability of that happening is astronomically low. And then if you want to talk about hacking the network, so to hack the network, you have to would put more computing power to the network than is already on it. You would have to, or you, it's called a 51% attack, where somebody has 51% of the network rate. Um, but to put in that in perspective, there's thousands upon thousands of warehouses filled to the brim with just Bitcoin miners, and their one sole purpose is to process transactions and secure the network. So you would have to be able to compute more power than 51% of them.
Yep. And the beautiful thing about wallets is you can keep it on a USB stick and it lived there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, technically, if you just wanted to be, I don't necessarily recommend it, but if you wanted to make a wallet on a sticky note and put it in your safe, that's possible too. Not
Well,
not not my recommended way of doing it, but no, I'm a very big fan of the digital currencies, and I understand that you can turn around and make the argument for like, well, it's only good if the internet's up, but
That's not true.
really,
Yeah.
I
Like-
mean, it's still around, but being able, well, I guess if you was able to section it off and
Hardware.
yeah,
You could treat it like a barter deal where you actually sit there and you plug two things together and you make your exchange that way.
you know what? You're right. You're right because what was it? There was somebody a couple years ago. There was an article about it. They processed a Bitcoin transaction through text message and Bluetooth.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right about that. I forgot about that.
So you don't even have to have the internet, but you do have to have electricity of some kind.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. But we have solar for that, and we have pies.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you can do some amazing stuff with some Raspberry Pis. But yeah, now solar and crypto actually feeds into one of my long-term projects I want to get off the ground in a couple next year or so.
Yeah.
I want to kick off a solar-powered mining farm. Nothing massive, but just a little something. Because the biggest downside to it is having to cover the electricity costs to run the miners. And if I'm on solar, then there's big upfront cost. But if I'm not having to pay the overhead of pulling from the pole, then I'm golden.
well, I'm worried about I'm worried about the hacking abilities and so forth, and even on the hardware thing that you're talking about. I mean, there would have to be a way, if I'm understanding this correctly, there would have to be a way to prove that you didn't manipulate that hardware. Because I'm gonna say in a situation where you're needing this,
Mhm.
you're believing what that guy has on his hardware, saying, "Yeah, I have these assets." Are they manipulated? I mean, how well do you trust that person? That would be the only thing to me. Greenbacks, greenbacks, a dozen eggs, bottle of whiskey, pack of smokes for some people. I'm gonna say, to me, that's going to get more attention from me than someone saying, "Hey, plug this into your computer here, and I can prove I've got some assets." Well, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand knowing the technical side of it helps to have more faith in it because you would literally have to have a supercomputer to crack a single wallet, much less multiple. And in those kinds of scenarios, and you couldn't, it would take years to crack one code with a supercomputer.
Yeah, and
So,
then to even just to be able to manipulate it without having to like trying to hack one single wallet to manipulate because it's all secured on the blockchain by the rest of all the people processing the transactions.
yep.
So to manipulate the amount of coin or currency or asset that you would have to have even more computing power. You would have to have enough to completely overwrite the blockchain and rewrite the block where that shows you that you have that asset or how much of it.
Right.
So
See,
the amount of energy and power required to manipulate pretty much anything on the blockchain through force is absolutely astronomical. Really the best way to manipulate a digital currency is through economics. It's not by throwing computing power at it, it's by throwing cash at it.
real quick, I want to say, what's up, Just Josh? Anyway, the thing about it is that's why I keep telling people, people keep saying, man, prep gold, prep this, prep that, gold, silver, and I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. If Shooter walks up to me and he's like, hey, man, I need a dozen eggs, man. Just saying. Things went bad. Can't go to the store and get them. I need a dozen eggs, bro. Here's 10 rounds of 5.56, man. I'm like, sweet. At the same time, this guy over here walks up and he's like, I've got this little gold nugget here. Trade for them eggs. I'm like, well, I guess I could put that in my slingshot and maybe peg somebody in the eye if I get real good at it.
Yeah.
And
If we're going to the barter system at this point, I would stockpile primers and powder. Yeah.
well,
Personally.
it's Rip Curl. What's up, buddy? It's the whole thing of, I don't know how bad it's gonna get. I did see something. I did see something earlier about China is blocking or like outlawing cryptocurrency.
China bans Bitcoin
Yeah.
like once every other year.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. They've banned that. They've banned Ripple / XRP. They've banned Ethereum. China bans cryptocurrencies once every other year, and then whenever the market takes a big dip, they're like, "Oh nope, crypto's good again. Here's some new guidelines," and then suddenly
Right.
it shoots back up another 80, 90, 100%.
The problem with that is, though, see, is that it's so volatile, man. It's
You're correct. Now, let me introduce you to this wonderful thing called stable coins, which are pegged 1-to-1 with a currency. For instance, USDT, USDC is all pegged and tethered in a 1-to-1 ratio with the US dollar. So one USDC or USDT, they're different currencies, but they do the same thing, is always worth $1. And I haven't looked at them simply because I'm not in the other countries, but I believe there's one for Australia, there's one for the Japanese yen, there's one for the euro, I think. But yeah, so there's that. But that being said, one of the one of the downsides to crypto is the volatility.
Yep.
Conversely, one of the upsides is the
Is the
volatility,
volatility.
because
I understand.
I jumped into Ethereum at a pretty good price point relative to where it is, and I got in. I took a big gamble and dove all in about 2 years ago on Ethereum, and if you look at the price chart, the volatility paid off in a big way. That being said, I almost lost it all because its price got cut in half in that 2.5 years.
See, that's the problem with gambling, because that's all you're doing is gambling.
All right.
The problem with gambling is you can win big, but see, people are greedy by nature. So you don't pull out of the market when you should. You don't cash in when you should, because you want to keep playing the game. You're greedy. You want to make more money. And that's how come a lot of this stuff, I think, to people like me who are not real players in that kind of thing, because that's something you got to keep up with constantly. You're not real players in that game, and you end up losing. I'm more of, like I said, my man Just Josh, who come up in the chat. Just Josh comes to me. He's like, "Hey, bro, I got 4 pints of whiskey. I want to trade you for 4 dozen eggs." I'm like, shoot, yeah, I got all these chickens out here, man. They're laying eggs every day, you know.
Right.
No problem. I got plenty of eggs. Man, I can take that whiskey. I can take me save a couple of bottles for myself, and then go trade that whiskey over there to my buddy over there that just slaughtered the beef, because he's got a lot of cows, and I can trade it for some hamburger meat or some, you know, some meat, you know, and
Yep.
Good call on that one, Just Josh.
Huh?
Just responding to Just Josh. He made out with Dogecoin. He's calling it good. That's a solid recommendation. I missed that one personally, and I kicked myself. But at the same time, I also missed GameStop and AMC, and yeah.
Just Josh right there. If anybody ain't following Just Josh, y'all need to go and follow this man. He is smart. He's got a lot of enthusiasm. He knows what he's talking about. He's a great guy. Just telling you, he's anyway. So Just Josh just said something that is exactly the point I'm trying to make. If I can't put my hands on it, no deal.
Yeah.
That's fair, and I'm not discrediting a barter and hard goods system at all. Like it has a place and a purpose. I'm just saying,
Do both.
yeah, do both, and be open to the possibilities that it can present. Because I'll be honest, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of what I do without being involved in the digital space. You know, whether that be in crypto itself or trading, stocks and options.
I'll put
There for a short while, I did well enough with digital that I thought I could quit my job.
Oh, yeah. That was me with options earlier this year. I was actually making more per week
Yep.
than I was actually working a full 40-hour week. And I'm like, you know what? I can keep doing this. And then, like Patriot said, I got greedy and yeah,
Yep.
I put all my eggs in one basket, and I took my portfolio and cut it in half.
Don't do it.
Oh, yep.
Diversify.
I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back. I'm
so.
about a quarter of the way back to where I was.
So I want to tell y'all, just so everyone knows, I may not be able to, I can't even hardly get Discord on my freaking computer properly. I'm still struggling with that. But I can tell you that playing the stock market and stuff like that, I did put a lot of money into 401k, but what I did was I moved a big percentage of that money. I only used money that I put money into a 401k and used that to my advantage in playing with that money in high risk things.
Yep.
Kept paying attention. The difference is, see, I would cash my money out when I would make, something would happen and it would jump up. That stock would jump up. I would cash out real quick and use that money to buy preps.
Yep.
I also played with it enough that I figured out once Trump got into office, he wasn't going to let the economy crash. Okay. That wasn't happening. He was going to do whatever he had to do. So I played that to my advantage. And then the coup hit, and they took away the 10% penalty for early cash withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
right? So all you had to do was pay taxes, just like when you were retiring. So I used that, and I paid off all my bills and bought preps. I still have a
Yes.
little money in there, but I don't have very much. But I haven't had to work in 2 years.
So
Yeah.
I've lived
yeah,
off of
that that
playing
that's
that
that's a
game.
good call.
I lived off of playing that game, and I paid attention, and I was like, I'm gonna cash this out and pay my bills instead of keep playing and hoping that they didn't crash the market. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Yeah. No, no, no. So
it worked.
a guy I listen to on YouTube that kind of just goes over market news and what he thinks says that yeah, it is akin to gambling, but like if you do it right, it's with an edge because
Yeah.
you can play percentages and you can you can YOLO and throw all your cash at one thing and hope it hits, or you can take less risk, low reward stuff, and you can play it is risk, yeah, and I could lose. Oh, odds are not everything come market open Monday, but I could take a hit. Yeah, for sure. I could lose some credit spreads like two or three in a row, and that's going to hurt. But for me, at a certain point, when you get diversified enough and you're in decent companies, yeah, yeah, buy low, sell high, doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, that's the general idea. Just the key is guessing wins low and wins high. And statistically, you're better off dollar cost averaging into the market as opposed to throwing everything in all at once. But for everything in the market to go to zero and you to lose everything, you'd either have to be in a single company that went bankrupt, or the global economy would have to crash. And I
And
don't think that's. I think if the global economy happens, like if it crashes and it all goes to zero, I've got way worse problems than my stock portfolio.
Yeah.
well, absolutely. I played a little with some of the money I got left in there. I played around with it here over the last month or so, and I actually will be, as long as everything goes cool through the weekend on Monday, I will be cashing out a portion of what I've made, and it will actually be enough to carry me through the winter while my lawn care business is not producing, because
Hmm.
everybody knows that through the winter you're not cutting grass.
Right.
I still have some leaf removal stuff that I purchased, and can blowers and tarps and mulchers and stuff like that. Bagger system for my mower, things like that. I already purchased that. It's already paid for in cash. Used the money. So when I'm telling people you can do this thing, you just got to be smart about it. You got to, you can play this market, but don't play with needed money.
Right.
Right. Yeah, that's it's like
That
the old ad. Don't invest anything you can't afford to lose. And I started off really small. Like it was side money I got from side jobs and whatnot. And over
Yep.
time, I've been fortunate and lucky enough, really, to survive the period of time where I didn't know what I was doing at all. And sometimes I make some plays and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I should have done that or not. And it's a constantly learning experience. But yeah, don't take your kids' college fund, your emergency fund, cash out your tax advantage 401k to be like, I'm going to put it all on Tesla calls expiring tomorrow. That's not a good call. If it works out for you, congratulations. You're one in a million.
By the way, Rip Curl, down here in Arkansas, we don't get much snow. We usually get ice, but
Yeah.
I'm also already preparing for. We have lots of driveways around here that are concrete and asphalt, and they do get really bad. And I've already bought the stuff and got some stuff coming for, salt, shovels, heater, generator to thaw people's driveways, their walkways, things like that. I'm working on stuff, bro. I promise. I'm not going to just sit around for the winter and do nothing. But I already come Monday, because I played the market a little, made a little money. Come Monday, I'm cashing some stuff out, and it's enough to carry me through the winter. So anything that I do on the other stuff, it's going to take time because I just started this business. So I'm gonna put the brochures out, or the flyers out there, and put the word out there. Hey, I can come and clean your driveway, clean your walkways, clean your deck off. All that stuff. Make it safe for you, yada yada. So Redneck Prepper, yes, I have a pressure washer too that I have purchased. So that'll be next summer.
You can do detailing over the winter as well.
Just saying, I'm looking into multiple things. I want to grow this business and keep it to where I can work year round. I don't have to. So I'm looking into a lot of stuff.
Work year round, take some of the extra money, throw it back in the market.
Yep.
But
Problem is you'll get taxed both ways.
right, yeah, that's my big problem right now.
Yeah, see, that's why you're still dealing cash and goods.
Yeah.
You have a good point, and that's why I don't like the 600. That's why I don't like the IRS looking at transactions over 600.
That's why
or 600 and under.
That's why I work for myself. See, if I go to someone and they have something of use or value to me, and they want to say, "Hey, bro, I'll give you this if you will do this for me," I'm like, "Yeah, not a problem," because that's a value to me. It's going to help me, So.
Right. Yeah.
It's like I'll build websites in exchange for things. It all works out.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. We have to use our noggins, and we have to use our noggins and start to look at multiple ways that you can make money, that you can even, like I said, if I go over to dude's place and maybe his wife made 2 or 3 loaves of bread, and I'm just going to go over there and throw some salt on their driveway and shovel it off. It's a couple of loaves of bread.
Yep.
I'm trading for, and can work out a deal with them and be like, hey, this is quite a bit of work. I'll do it for 4 loaves of bread, 2 loaves this week, 2 loaves next week. Sure, no problem.
There's multiple ways to get around the system without having to put more in than we get.
Yeah. Now, I remember having the distinct thought early on in life that, like, it's worth the effort to understand how the system and money works, because if you don't learn to control it, it'll control you forever. And how that works looks different for everybody. I have found the method that works for me. Yep. So that's one of the totally true. That's entirely true. That's skills is one thing that never goes away, and knowing a trade craft is one of the most profitable things you can do. It's one of the best things. I mean, I'm not the best mechanic around, but I know a little bit and can work on a little bit of everything. And I can pack up my tools, move across the country, and have a job in a week. Matter of fact, actually, going on almost 7 years ago, I actually did that. Moved up to Alaska for a summer. Thought I had a job on a boat up there that ended up falling through. So I went around to all the shops and asked if they needed a hand. Found somebody that needed help, and I was back to work within like 2 weeks.
That's the whole point of it too, right there, brother. Is that people got to understand that you got to get out and hustle.
Oh yeah,
The work
no,
ethic.
that's
If I want work done at my place or whatever it is, or I'm gonna say, hey, I need something done, but I want to see somebody hustle. I want to see somebody show up. I want to see somebody get out there and say, I'm here. I'm standing in front of you. I'll do this work. I don't want to talk to some dude on the phone that was too lazy to freaking get up and come see what it is I got to do. I don't want some guy calling me, be like, I mean, if you want me to come over there, I can probably come over in a couple of days or something when I.
oh no.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. No,
Got to get out.
and I'm not not disagreeing at all. Definitely, like skills, definitely prep, stock up on stuff. Just there's it goes back to the earlier conversation of balance.
Mhm.
You can't be so heavily weighted in one thing that you completely lose sight of something else that could be extremely beneficial.
Right.
But with that, guys, I'm gonna dip out of here. I'm about to nod off at the keyboard. I've been up for almost 21 hours at this point,
Wow.
and
You're
so
young.
oh, I know. Doesn't mean I like doing it more often than I have to.
Right. I
But
understand.
yeah. Any questions? Anything y'all want to know? Gear, training, crypto, whatever it is, shoot us an email, address it to me if you think I can give you a hand and see what I can do.
Thank you for
I got
coming
a
up.
question for you.
What was that?
I got a question for you.
What was that?
Do you like long moonwalk, moon out, walks on the beach, riverbank? Because we really don't have beaches around here, so it just had to be like a creek bank or something.
I do on occasion enjoy a nice, good late night walk on a beach. Has to be the right beach though. Otherwise, much more prefer the mountains. Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
All right.
I would take Colorado over Florida. But yeah, y'all have a good one.
All right,
You
brother.
too.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Shooter.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm really excited. I hope a lot of people show up. October 2nd, Mulberry Mountain. Um, after having been around some of the guys, I really think this is a good group. I've been uh, around other good groups as well, but I think this has just the right chemistry. It's just small enough that it's got the perfect energy to just keep moving forward with the right people that can train, the right leadership that isn't. I don't want to say the word gung ho because they are gung ho, but it's not. You have to do it this way. I love how the way the training is set up to where it works with everyone.
Well, you have to fit in everybody. Not everybody is the same.
Right?
I mean, it's not everybody has the same physical capabilities. Not everybody has the same uh, knowledge about this. Maybe they got more knowledge about this over here, and so we want to fit in. You teach me this, I teach you this.
Yep.
We want to fit that in. We want it to be friendly. It's because it is. It should be friendly. Should be friendly to all.
Absolutely. But I just want everyone to be able to look at this and say, Star sounds like a pretty good group. I want to help protect my community. I want to learn how to do that. and I think y'all fit the bill for it.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I really do. I really appreciate you doing this tonight for us. I hope a lot of people watch this and listen to what's going on. I hope some people show up to the October 2nd thing. We're going to have some food. It's going to be some award stuff for us guys, but we're going to hang out. We're probably going to go on the hiking trail because there's hiking trails there. We're probably going to go on a hike or two, check your things out. And yes, Rip Curl, I choose Overwatch as well. I that is what I'm mostly a part of when we go do other things is Overwatch. I love it. I love the Overwatch. So yeah.
I like Overwatch myself.
But like I said, there's room for everybody. There's always something someone can do. There's always something someone can learn, including myself. I mean, there's always something to learn. The more you learn, the more you know, the better off you are. Yeah, Rip Curl, we're gonna give you the cute puppy award.
Harvey, they put their email up earlier. Patriot, do you have that?
Shoot, man, I'll have to go into Discord. I don't know. I'm having trouble with dude. I don't understand. I used to be in Discord all the time, and now it messes with me with logging in. It tells me it's the wrong login, and I already went in and tried to clear all.
It doesn't let you use the QR code.
No, I can't. I don't know what the heck's up with it. Because when I was in the Discord before, I had it all set up and it all worked, and now because I kind of went away from it and changed a bunch of stuff, and now it's like it won't let me hear the. Oh, sorry. Oh, come on, you stupid computer. Here we go. Oh, that's the. I'll tell you what. If you want to know anything, I'll put my email address up here. It'd be easier just to do that. Oh, come on. This computer. Oh man, it ticks me off. Here we go.
The deal with Discord is it's better if you have it on a phone. That way you can connect it with your desktop, and you don't even have to have it on a phone that uses, bless you, that uses like an actual cell carrier or anything like that. Just an old phone. Download it to that with your Wi-Fi and use that.
Yeah, I'm not the technological guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's weird. I can do certain things and I can do them really good. This StreamYards and YouTubes and stuff. But anyway, so there's my email. If just hit me up and I can get the information for you. I will go in and get on Discord. It takes me a little bit. I have to do some certain things there to get on it.
You know, I could give you an Arkansas Prepper Network email.
Huh?
If you want an Arkansas Prepper Network email,
Uh-huh.
I can give one to all of y'all.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there you go. You can contact me on my email and I'll get the information for you once I'm not on a live stream and got my computer all tied up. I can go in there and I can get that information that anybody needs. So there you go. And the place that we are going,
It's beautiful. That's actually my dream venue for a statewide convention of preppers.
yeah, it's at Mulberry Mountain, and we've done went too far now in the chat. I can't
Oh,
get it to come up.
I've got that link you put in earlier, or somebody did. I think Mayhem put it in there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kick off here too, bro. I'm kind of hungry, man. I ain't ate since earlier today, actually before the Arkansas Razorback game.
Oh, wow. Are you
What is
kidding me? 3 characters.
See, there you go.
You won't be able to click on that link and it work. You have to add the 925 at the end of it. There's 3 characters over 200.
Oh, it
Come
took
on,
me right.
YouTube.
It took
Oh,
me
really?
right. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Mulberry Mountain Lodging and Events.
Yeah,
Gives you right where it's at. You can pull up directions and everything.
they have something up there they used to every year called Wakarusa.
Mm.
Locally, everybody calls it the hippie convention, but it's a lot of outdoor music, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just like I said, I'm not even staying the night there. I've got other things going on, but I'm gonna come up there for that day for 4 or 5 hours and hang out, and then I'm gonna go back home. It's actually I'll tell you how far of a drive it is from me. Directions.
It's only about 30 to 45 minutes for me. Would you be willing to do a live video challenge
A live
at,
video challenge.
from Mulberry Mountain? Like the one chip challenge or the
I ain't
chocolate
do-
challenge?
I ain't doing all that one chip challenge crap, man. I ain't eating that hot stuff, and I'll do a shooting challenge if there's a gun range.
Not there.
Oh,
There's one about 6 miles down the road.
yeah, it's about 2 hours and 30 minutes from my house
Oh, wow.
drive. So, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm gonna go up there and hang out. You know.
Well, that's about how long it took me to get to the last training I went to. Y'all had.
Yeah. So it's 2 hours and 30 minutes for me total hatred. So let's. I mean, come and hang out. What's the worst that can happen? You come up there and get full and have to take a nap before you can drive back home. I'm actually going to, if I can remember to set the dadgum deal on my phone, my reminder, I'm going to thaw out some deer meat, and I'm either going to cook it beforehand and bring it, or bring the stuff and cook it while we're there. But I may just cook it beforehand and then have a way, where I can kind of heat it up. Bring some stuff
Yeah.
where I can kind of heat it up, and just some good fried deer meat.
Bring her with you, Total Hatred.
Yeah, bring her with. Tell her, come on, let's go up there and hang out. Go on a hiking trail. Dude, I'm about to go in here and get something to eat.
Yeah,
I'm starving out, bro.
it was good having you up. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, everyone in chat. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you for bringing us up.
Have a good weekend.